It's time to continue to carry the message with the Tewaaraton Foundation. Next up, former Cornell player David Bray won a couple of national championships with the Big Red in the 1970s, playing for the legendary coach Richie Moran. He also has been a big part of the Iroquois Nationals program, going from player to GM to executive director to now member of the board of directors. So we continue to carry the message with the Tewaaraton Foundation with David Bray, a former player at Cornell. And David, your former coach, Richie Moran, has a question for you from a couple weeks ago when we spoke with him. And his question for you is, what was it like coming from a very small town in New York, a very small high school, to eventually getting and playing at the highest level at Cornell?
Well, it was quite a bit different. Growing up on the Seneca territory, Cattaraugus, it was significantly different because I pretty much grew up in just a native community, not the diversity that Cornell had. I didn't play high school ball. What I did is I played box lacrosse in our territory till I was 15. I played junior lacrosse, and then at 15, I started playing with the Senior B Newtown Golden Eagles. So I was playing against men going in from a lacrosse perspective. Playing at Cornell was a bit easier as I didn't get roughed up as much. But the transition, more from a socioeconomic point of view, was a bit different because I had a lot of people asking me questions about my native heritage, how it was living on a reservation or a territory, and that kind of took me back. But nevertheless, I persevered and able to pass on information to the next generation as they come up through to better understand what kind of questions you're going to see, because many non-natives living in other areas of the country will be asking questions about your native heritage, how you live, what you eat, what's your religion, so on and so forth. So I try to have some of our youth better prepared as they go into college now. And so that's kind of what I take away from it is you have to be better prepared as an individual to field those types of questions, which we'd never get those types of questions coming out of our territory.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because we see so many Native Americans, and I think the Thompson brothers are a great example in how they've tried to give back and teach the next generation, what it takes and what kind of grades you need to get to college and all the different things that go into it. What is your message to today's generation that's up and coming that want to do what you did? They want to go and strive to play college lacrosse and get a better education.
Well, from a lacrosse point of view, I know I put a lot of energy into my athleticism and into my game. And what I had to do is I had to take that same type of energy that I put into the game of lacrosse, and put it into my academics, particularly at Cornell, where you're getting very high achieving student athletes as well as just students at Cornell. And those are the people you're going to be kind of academically competing with. So you got to kind of sharpen your game academically as well as you do on the lacrosse field. The main thing that I took away from at Cornell was actually setting priorities. And the priorities, were academics first. Second was lacrosse. Actually, second was family, and third was lacrosse. So, even throughout life, I still look at prioritizing things that I work with and do. So prioritization is an important aspect of the game and in any sport. So it's kind of what I took away.
Obviously, you had a chance to play for one of the really great coaches we've seen in this game at Cornell, and Richie Moran. What was that like?
That was an excellent experience. It was not only, Richie Moran, but it was all my teammates that made the team Um, it was a diverse crew of athletes that we strive to eventually have a longest winning streak in NCAA history. But Richie was able to tie it all together with humor, with interesting philosophy, and just no nonsense type of play. I played with a number of coaches in lacrosse, and I often look back and say that Richie was probably my best lacrosse coach that I ever had. He made the game just fun and just enjoyable to play with. So.
You mentioned Cornell. I'm sure you try to keep tabs with the program now, and they have a new interim head coach in Connor Busick. But I thought the thing that stood out to me when I had a chance to talk with Connor about a week ago when he got the job was he was just talking about the culture of Cornell Lacrosse, and that he kind of gets plugged in, but he wants to keep that culture going. What is the culture around Cornell Lacrosse alums, and when you guys get back together, about what does that mean to all of you?
Well, I think we set a high standard, winning 2 national championships right in a row, undefeated. So I think that kind of resonates to myself as well as to other athletes that are coming in, is that everyone wants to achieve a high level, and they have to put in their time to actually do it. And the culture is often, once you're done with the 4 years you are at Cornell, was to actually give back in some fashion. So it's kind of you enjoy the game, but you also have to give back to the game. And even in my local community, I often look at as they gave me all the tools that I needed to get to Cornell. Cornell gave me more tools, and I'm often just trying to give back. And currently, I do that by being on the Iroquois Nationals board of directors, and still working on developing lacrosse talent throughout our territories.
I'm glad you mentioned the Iroquois Nationals, because you've been a pretty big part of that program over the course of whether you were a player or now serving in a different fashion. When you look at the Iroquois Nationals program and how you guys continue to look to grow, and I know the Olympics is the hot topic for just about everybody in international lacrosse, what do you see in the future for the Iroquois Nationals?
Well, we're all striving to be the best, just as Canada, US, Australia, England, all the other countries. We all strive to be the best, and certainly that's our goal, is to eventually be the best. We're close in the box game, being silver medalists a number of times, but field lacrosse has been another challenge. But we're getting there, and it's good to see our young athletes have access into the college programs, and when they come out of the college programs, they certainly do help the Iroquois Nationals raise their standards. And it's been a lifelong journey for me with the Iroquois Nationals. We started in 1983, and I'm still involved with them. I've been involved as a player, assistant coach, general manager, executive director, and the board of directors. So it's been a long journey, and we're just continuing that pace. And our next big hurdle will be the Olympics, and certainly we want to gear our team up strongly to compete at that level.
So we want to continue this segment, and it is now up to you to carry the message. Who will we be talking to next week?
We're going to be talking with Freeman Bucktooth. He's one of our former coaches and general managers of our Iroquois Nationals under-19 team, and I would like him to talk a little bit about the skill sets, lacrosse skill sets, as well as mental skill sets that our athletes have to develop further as they continue their journey from the minor lacrosse systems into the college systems and beyond. And so I know it's kind of a broad topic. Nevertheless, I'm sure Freeman can do a good job in developing that. And as a side note, Freeman was the under 19 coach when the Iroquois Nationals did beat the U.S. under 19 team. Unfortunately, we didn't win in the championship round, but we beat them in the round robin. So it was a significant accomplishment for our Iroquois National program to be at that level.
And we look forward to talking with him next week. David, we appreciate the time. Stay safe, and we'll talk again soon.
Okay, thank you.